Good evening, all. Hello, Jane. Long time no see. Hope everything's well. Welcome to the Hypnosis Rooms, and today we're going to be talking everything about New Year. Adam's going to be joining us very shortly. He's just sorting out our stream to YouTube. But it's been a long time. It's been a long time for myself. Raise your hand. Oh, is Jane coming up? You have to accept it. I don't know if you've done this before, Jane. I don't know how new you are to Clubhouse. But yeah, oh no, she's disappeared. Adam, there you are.
Can you hear me okay?
I can, but can I hear you twice? Why is that? I'm getting an echo from you.
That's weird because I have got the TV off.
I know where it is. There we go. That should be good.
Okay. Is that giving you the echo?
No.
Okay. Do you want to make me a moderator as well, and we'll...
Yes, mate, I will. That's it. I think it is. It's because everything was coming through my thing. Louise, welcome. Hope everything's well. Here we are. We are back. We're back onto Clubhouse. So before we start, if there's anyone who you know, please just click in that bottom corner. Ping along some people who may be interested in coming to join us this evening, coming to have a little chat, because it's been a while. It's been a very good while. But we just want to get chatting to people, having a little look, see how people are getting on. And most importantly, talking about hypnosis in the new year. Adam, happy new year, my friend. How's everything been for you?
Graham, it's been a roller coaster ride of the last few weeks, I would say. Yeah, because I think it was almost like maybe 5-6 weeks ago since we did the last Clubhouse room. In that period, just a lot of hypnosis clients, nice Christmas break. My podcast has hit the 750,000, so 750,000 mark.
Awesome.
Yeah, just generally good things, feeling very optimistic for a new year, I think.
Yeah. That's really, really good. And likewise, you know, I had some clients. I like I said to you before, I don't go having loads of clients. I wait for clients to come to me because of my other job as well. But I had some just before Christmas, and it's great seeing that positive change too. But yeah, 750,000 downloads on your podcast. That is absolutely brilliant, mate, and great to see it growing from strength to strength. When it comes to your business, have you put in for any New Year's resolutions of any sort?
There's a few goals. A few goals that I have for the hypnosis side of things. One of the goals, I've been invited to speak at the Hypnothoughts Live in Vegas. So want to make that a good talk in Vegas. It's the biggest hypnosis conference in the world, really, I think. That's one of the goals, to make sure I can physically get there and do that and network and meet lots of people there. Also to really build more digital products around hypnosis. I'm very much dependent on one-on-one therapy sessions at the moment as kind of an income source for the hypnosis. It's not my main source of income, but basically if I'm not seeing hypnosis clients, I'm not really making money outside of maybe 5% that comes from like digital products and things like that. But I want to get that to over 50% this year. So yeah, that's one of the key goals, is to monetize the content that I created rather than just rely on doing one-to-one hypnosis sessions.
Yeah, monetizing is very big, isn't it? Especially as a therapist, because let's face it, we don't do therapy just to help people. As much as we do want to help people, we also do it because it's something that we enjoy and we want to make more of a living out of. So monetizing is very important. Obviously, as we was briefly chatting about before we started this room, my hypnosis online meetups been going just over 3 years now. And it's something that's come together more and more to the fact that it creates a passive income for me. I get a lot of great content, and also, as I was saying, I'd love nothing more than to try and make it live this year. Like, yes, it's live every time we go, but actually in person live, because that value of actually meeting people, even like Louise, who's joined us at the moment, to actually meet people in person, to say hello, to even yourself, Adam, as I was saying, because although we've been friends now for nearly a year, we've only said hello digitally. It's mental, that, isn't it?
It is weird, and a similar thing has actually happened in my PR company, which I also do when I'm not doing hypnosis. And we had a Christmas party, but we've also had certain times when people have come into the office, and there's people that have worked with each other for over a year, and they'd never actually met each other face to face, and they were surprised at things like people's height and things like that, because when you only ever see people on a Zoom call, you don't really get a sense of like how big they are or that kind of stuff. And then in your head, you had a different expectation. And there was so many people that just like, I've never actually seen you before. And it was, a weird thing. So yeah, I think 2022, I think there'll be a lot of people meeting people for the first time that they've known for a while, but not actually kind of met, which I think is an important thing. Humans are social creatures. We're not meant to be only communicating through, video calls.
100% then. Couldn't unmute my mic. Louise, welcome up on stage. If I'm right, this is your first time up on stage, isn't it? Just make sure you press that microphone in the bottom corner.
Thanks.
It's okay.
Yeah,
No,
it is. Hi, it's great to be up here. I've just, I was joining in on the sessions for a good few weeks, and it's been so brilliant to learn from all of you. It's my journey is just that this is my year to get started with my business, and I've done all the training. I've been training sort of the last 18 months to 2 years, and working on my confidence and my competence. And this is where I'm at.
Excellent. So what is your resolution, your goal for 22, other than just starting? Have you got something specific? Have you found your niche? Have you found your market? Is it that you're going to be online or in person? Anything like that?
Most of my training was done online, just as a result of, the way the world has been. I was due to do my training face to face, but then, that all changed. But it's been a really interesting journey for me. And through the process of trying to decide on a niche, I've sort of whittled it down now to helping women, reconnect with their inner strength. I feel that's something that I'm quite drawn to. And my goals are really just to, build on that and to get the message out there and to start engaging online, doing some sort of videos and whatnot on Instagram and just see where it takes me.
Excellent. No, that's really, really good. And really that's what this is all about, is it's being able to create that presence to people, to let them know what you're doing. I remember the scary years of starting out, and it's like, how is it you get to people? How is it you be able to manage that? Do you just simply put some little messages out there? Do you advertise in little different places? I actually started advertising in Facebook marketplaces when it was actually quite more useful, going onto the discussion boards and just putting stuff. And you'd be surprised how many people I got interest from. And then also it's the talent of being able to put advertisements or price drops when it's not really a price drop. In fact, you just put your discounted price 10% more. That kind of works a little bit as well. A little bit untruthful, you could say. However, for business, it gets you started, it gets you more confident. And the big thing is practice talking on the phone to people to close your sale, because obviously being able to pass that information over to someone and make them go, yeah, absolutely, I'm going to come and see you right now. Think of everything that you've gone through over them 18 months, different people that you've worked with in training or in person for whichever bits, and really think about the different situations you've been in, and try and recall them whenever you can from them different people. A little bit of each person you'll find in your future clients. And I always find that sharing it will definitely bring something out. Does that make sense to you, Louise?
Yeah, those are great tips. Thanks so much.
No worries. Adam, have you got anything to pass over?
Yeah, I would say just starting out, I think one of the key thing, one of the mistakes that I made when I started out, is having my prices too low. So when I started out, I used something called Gumtree, which I guess is like, like a little, almost like classified ads app and that kind of stuff. It was virtually free to kind of post an advert, and I was just kind of offering ridiculously cheap sessions. And I justified it on the base that, you've got to learn before you earn, and that's going to give me experience actually working with clients. But actually, all it did was get a very low caliber client that, you know, wasn't really my target client anyway. It didn't really help me. The big thing that really helped me to establish a client base and steer it towards a price point that was actually viable for me was offering free hypnosis sessions in exchange for case studies and testimonials. And then what you do is you get all the experience that you would need at that point, because it sounds like you've already got a very, very specific niche. And there's going to be women out there that can resonate with that. They don't feel like they're the strongest they've ever been in their life, and you can help unlock those resources. So by doing that kind of session with them for free, but at the end, there's a 5-minute conversation where they talk about how you've helped them. That gives you social proof. It enables you to boost your confidence and your competency. But more importantly, it means that you've got little videos on your social media, on your website, that one of the things that most hypnotherapists don't have a lot of is social proof, evidence that they're competent. So if you've got that one thing in year one of your business, you're already positioning yourself as a top 5% hypnotherapist, simply because you've got evidence that you can achieve results, because you have your clients talking about how you've helped them. And the interesting thing is, the audience listening to those case studies and testimonials, they don't know that it was a free session. They just know that you've helped someone that seems like they've got a very similar problem to themselves, if that makes sense. And that can really be a way of building the momentum, but more importantly, having collateral and assets that you can leverage to acquire clients that are more than willing. I mean, what's the value of helping a woman to unlock her inner strength and get back to her best? That's worth a lot. That's not something you want to, discount. But how you get to that point, I think, is building up that confidence in yourself, but also evidence that you can produce results for other people, and that becomes priceless. Is that something that you've done before, Louise, or do you think might be helpful?
Yeah, no, that's really, it's really, really good points and very valid. And I think, it's all about the investment. People have to be willing to make that investment in themselves, don't they, at the end of the day? And, so I'm trying to just keep that in the front of my mind, and that it is, a service that's being provided. So, yeah, and definitely, getting the video testimonials, I think, is really good advice. So thank you.
Yeah, more than welcome. And it's super easy to do. If you're using Zoom or Teams, they've all got a record function, and then you just start the recording and just position it. Just say, do you mind I ask you a few questions for a few minutes just to get your thoughts on the session? When they say yes to that, record, introduce, them and their issue, obviously protecting confidentiality, wouldn't give any names or anything. But that's kind of the win-win outcome. You get a case study, a testimonial, they get a free session, everyone's happy, but you can leverage that kind of case study forever at that point.
Brilliant. Thanks.
More than welcome.
Thank you, Louise. Everyone, I can see Patrick, Rich, Steve, welcome. Happy New Year. We've came on today mostly just to talk about New Year. What does it mean to you? Have you put any sort of things in place of what you want to achieve? Have you got targets for 2022 for your business and yourself? What is it that you learned from 2021 that you maybe go forward? And just to recap a little bit already, my thing is, as many of you know, I also have Hypnosis online meetups that I do, and I've been doing it now just over 3 years, and 2022 is the year that I am planning, and I really want to achieve doing it in person. Obviously, the big C's showing its head again, but we do believe it shouldn't get in the way too much. But at the same time, doing it in person, because all of you on here, literally every single person who's currently showing themselves coming to speak and all the rest of it, I only know you digitally. Yes, I know you're a person and maybe friends with you on Facebook, but I only know you digitally. I've never shook your hand, given you a cuddle, shared a drink with you or anything like that. So therefore, my aim this year is to take my my training aspect out of the digital world and hopefully meet more of you lovely, wonderful people in person. And when it comes to that, I say everyone on here, that even includes Adam, who I've now been sharing a part of my life with for 11 months, which is absolutely mental. Steve, good evening. How are you, my friend?
Good evening and Happy New Year. Very, very well, very well indeed. Thanks. A lot better now than I was just before Christmas, because I came down with COVID, and I've got this damnable autoimmune disease as well, which has caused one of my eyes to close up. So yeah, not a good run up to Christmas. I'm not here to whinge, but yeah, let's have a quick whinge. Just listening to the tail end of that piece with Louise there, and that's one of my targets for this year, and that is to do more video work. And where I've had this autoimmune disease, and it's caused my right eye to close, and sometimes I wear the pirate patch. It's surprised me how it's made me feel quite self-conscious, and I've never really experienced that. So I've been doing a lot of sort of self-work on sort of trying to correct this before anybody suggests I go and see a good hypnotist. Yeah, that's my target for the next 2 to 3 months. Whatever happens with this, to just get some video content out there, because having been doing this now for about 5 years, having looked at everybody else from Jason Lynette to everybody else who's successful in this, it's just made me realize I've done it all the wrong way, and how the hell I've managed to stay in this business and actually earn a good income out of this actually surprises me now. So I've got to turn things around. So yeah, that's my plans. That's
a really good point. And if you want to actually document it, TikTok is a way of documenting it. Believe it or not, going on TikTok first with your pirate patch on would get some people inquiring into you. Just that instant look of it. Honestly, you could even call your profile name Steve the Pirate, because it will, it's the alter ego of what someone's doing, but then someone will buy into your thing. Recently, a woman absolutely blew up because, I don't know if you heard about it, she, her whole story on TikTok was selling a bobby pin and then being able to purchase a house at the end of it. She went from selling a whole year of selling multiple, I can't remember, like 1,500 transactions or something, but it led to buying a house. Granted, a small, 2-bedroom house sort of thing, but she bought a house from selling a bobby pin. So your sort of story, it videos it for you, and as I'm sure Adam will jump on in a minute, it will give you perfect leverage, not only just to put it into TikTok. TikTok's got a very good editing suite on it anyway, but you can also put it to YouTube Shorts. You can also put it to Instagram Reels. You can put it onto your Facebook. Multiple aspects as to where you can put your story of you. And and it also comes down to websites and stuff like that as well. Your website, me and Adam were just talking before about how websites are now going to be going to website 3.0, and not many people know that, because a lot of people are still using their websites in just 1.0, where it's just a lovely fluffy picture and some contact details. You can actually have it where your TikTok is, or whatever program you want, is actually installed on your website. So as well as people know that you'll do therapy, you can actually show how you're going through your own journey yourself, which would really encapsulate people to go onto there. I can see Adam's getting ready because he wants to jump on top of bits here as well. Adam, crack on.
I can't talk about TikTok whatsoever. I've downloaded it. My daughter is on there. She loves it, but I know nothing about TikTok. But I think a general principle is, when it comes to self-conscious, I used to be very self-conscious about my hair when I had hair. And what what my own personal approach is, if you can own whatever it is that is a cause of, being self-conscious. And I interviewed a lovely lady called Tulsi, who at the age of 8 years old was in a plane crash, lost her parents, lost her brother, disfigured, scars, burns over 50, 60% of her body. She went to school having lost all that. Kids called her Freddy Krueger, all this kind of stuff. But she's a great example of someone that kind of owns that. She embraces those scars. She embraces, the kind of, let's say, the elements that a lot of people might be embarrassed or feel awkward about. She's realized that she can't hide those things. So better to own those things. So, whether it is, I've seen people that have like nervous twitches, or they might have a birthmark or whatever it is. But, and I know there's a lot of bold guys out there that will try and, cover it up. But I think, for me, generally a really sensible advice is own your insecurities, because if you own them, they can't be used against you. I'm a short, bold, middle-aged guy, and I fucking love it. And I think that having that sense of ownership, nobody can, do anything about that. If you take a weakness and turn it into a USP, and Graham's right, if you're the one-eyed hypnotist, or if you're the pirate hypnotist, you've got no competition, because there are no other people out there that's going to be in that same niche. And there's time after time, there are pop stars that you don't see their face because they're hiding behind a mask and all this kind of stuff. Sometimes, that insecurity can actually be a USP. And I think it's as close to, a reframe as you get, but that's what a lot of therapy is all about, giving a different meaning to what would be something that creates a negative emotion.
Absolutely. And I just watched Rocket Man the other night again, Elton John's story. And, as much as he goes through stuff, it comes onto stage. No one wants fucking Dwight. They want Elton John. And he's there in his Daffy Duck outfit, ready to go. So yeah, absolutely rocket, Steve. And I've great information.
I think great advice from both of you guys there, and it's sort of in line with what my thinking was. Funnily enough, I've just come down to the community centre where I practice from. I'm one of the trustees there, so I've just come down to lock up. So I was listening to Jordan Peterson's podcast, and he's interviewing some fairly young Republican senator, I think it was. And this guy had been in the Gulf, and he'd lost an eye. So, he's wearing a pirate patch. And Jordan Peterson was saying, well, you look kind of cool doing that. And I think when it's something about ourselves, that self-consciousness, it is about that word self. Now, Adam, you were saying about being bald. Now, I look at a lot of guys these days who are bald, and I'm actually quite envious. Because it's, to me, that's like a cool look. I tried shaving my head quite a few years ago. I just ended up looking like Aleister Crowley, and that's not a good look. So, it is about the self, isn't it? And it's about just training ourselves. And as you both said, it's just about going with what you've got, owning that, and making the most of it. So yeah, thank you both for that.
And also realizing that most people are constantly judging for the reaction of the individual to decide how they're going to feel about something. It's a real life example. I have quite bushy eyebrows, and a few years ago, I have this kind of like little kind of portable shaver thing. So there I am trimming my eyebrows, and it was on the wrong setting. So rather than trimming my eyebrows, I shaved an eyebrow off. My kids thought it was hilarious. My partner, she was like, what have you done? And then I tried to even it up on the other side. It looked even worse, and there I am, absolutely mortified. I was meant to go to a leaving party of one of my staff. Of course, like I bailed on that because I was insecure about it. I thought, like, they're going to ridicule me. But anyway, I had to go to work. It's my business. I can't not turn up on the Monday morning. And I just thought, I've got to 100% own this. I had no fucking eyebrows. Like it looked ridiculous. I looked like Voldemort. You know, it's the closest thing I could use to describe. And basically I turned in, and my body language, my posture, you know, 100% congruent, fucking confident. And people would chat to me, and I could see what they're doing. They're trying to read. It's like velociraptors on the fence. They're trying to look for weakness. They're trying to look for, you know, me being awkward and that kind of stuff. I did not flinch a bit. And what happened is, you know, yeah, probably a few people said things, but because I didn't give an inch of being insecure or worried or embarrassed or anything like that, then it wasn't an issue. And a week later, they kind of grew back, and it wasn't an issue. And it wasn't an issue because I didn't make it an issue. And I think a lot of people are looking for insecurities in the body language and the tonality of other people. And they'll treat you how you're willing to be treated. So, you know, I think, you know, whether that's a useful, you know, metaphor at some level, or just a funny experience at my expense. But yeah, like don't allow people to, you know, if you're not insecure about it, nobody else can make you insecure about it. I think that's the key thing. You're the gatekeeper of your own emotions.
Adam, I must apologise. As everyone knows, we're also on Zoom at the moment because we're pushing out to YouTube. And he absolutely made me crease when he said Voldemort. I'm sorry, but so you carried on with your talk gracefully.
I dropped my phone. Yeah.
But no, I too remember when I had to shave my hair off. My wife was like, I gave her the buzzers. I was like, Emma, you need to shave up to here. How do you use these? And I just grabbed them off her halfway, literally straight over the top of my head like that. And it's literally since that day I've shaved my own head anyway. And the amount of people who say you actually look so much better. But yeah, Steve, great point. Do just and Adam as well. Just be confident of yourself. You know you're a good therapist. And just literally rock it. And like I say, if you're trying to push yourself out there and you want attention, use it. Literally use it. To your full advantage. I just want to say welcome to everyone who's joined a little bit later on in this room. Joanna, Dina, Mark, welcome to the Hypnosis Rooms. We're just here talking about everything for New Year to do with therapy. If you're a hypnotherapist, what are your sort of plans? If you're not a hypnotherapist, if you've got something that you want to make a positive change in your life, something for this year that you want to achieve, as I've already said, I want to be able to make my training / educational environment like this more in person rather than virtual. I want to be able to meet a lot more people. And Adam, as you said as well, you also want to do the same. It's all about being able to meet everyone a lot more, isn't it?
Yeah, it's these big events, you know, and you know, I know the UK hypnotherapy conference was kind of cancelled last year. Hopefully it happens next November. You know, very privileged to be invited to speak at Hypno Thoughts live in Vegas. So I'm excited about that. You know, and it's going to be weird for me because it's going to be the first time I'm going to Vegas as a teetotaler. You know, I've been to Vegas twice before, one on my 30th birthday, then on my 40th birthday. Got absolutely drunk on both occasions, but I'll be going there at that point, nearly 4 years of not drinking. So it'll be a very different Vegas, I think. I might actually be able to remember some of it this time. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to innovating. My goal when I set up my podcast was to impact 1 million lives through my voice and hypnosis. It's on 750,000 at the moment. I think I'll hit 1 million probably by March, April time. I'm just really excited. I think there's a lot. As hypnotherapists, we're in a unique position because doing what we love also has a positive impact on other people. And if you can get people from an anxious state to a confident state, if you can get someone from, you know, feeling more resourceful or better about their life, that doesn't just impact them. That has a ripple effect through all the people they interact with. So I feel like, you know, we are in a privileged position that we genuinely get to make, I don't want to sound too cliche about it, but the world becomes a better place as a side effect of us doing what we do in a competent way. And that feels good to me.
Now, another thing about it being the new year hypnosis is, or hypnotherapy, hypnosis, whichever way, it's got a very weird way of every so often changing its tilt. I say that because when I first got into hypnosis, it was very much books and street hypnosis. That's what I got involved in. So for street hypnosis purposes. Then when I started to train in therapy, there was a lot of quick resolutions in place. There was also a lot more showing of solution-based hypnotherapy for things like that as well. So it makes me wonder, and anyone in the audience, please feel free to come up. It makes me wonder of which way this hypnosis will change, because the last 2 years have very much been the conversion from in office to online as well, which works really well. And there's a lot of therapists out there who would slag off people who did Skype hypnosis back in the day. Oh, you're just using a fad. And then when everyone had no choice, all of a sudden they managed to take a look at their own business and say, why can't I do it? And now in some cases, you've got many successful therapists. Kaz Riley, I'm going to drop that name. Kaz works literally all around the world with her sexual freedom hypnosis, because she can work straight from her office. You can set everything to your time. You can work it around like that. Bob Burns, who's in the audience, with coaching people as well, and being able to, as much as he usually likes to have people right in his therapy room, being online, Bob, please do correct me, but now you can at least have people online in any sessions too. So the guidance for everything is absolutely perfect with that too. But what will 2022 bring? Will it bring into virtual reality? As virtual reality in the metaverse is becoming a lot more popular with the Oculus headsets and things, will there be any other sort of change like that as well? It'd be very interesting just to see how that goes, because in the 10 years that I've been learning hypnosis, there's been many different changes along that way, fads, things getting pushed through quickly, and everything like that. So like I say, the development, how will it go? It'll be brilliant. It'd be really good to hear from anyone out in the audience. With that too, we just need to, when it comes down to CPD, what is it that people want to be learning? How is it people want to learn? Do people actually prefer online training? Do people want that in-house training? As I said before, this year, I want to try and meet a hell of a lot more people in person, because, like I said, the connection, regardless of how we get taught, it's the connection, the laughter that we can have, whether it is over a beer or not, or whether it's just finding a commonality between someone. I'm sure everyone's had it where they've been on an online course with someone, and then it comes to another course and you think, yeah, I know. Yes, you can read the name, but you don't really know much else about them, and it just kind of passes. The reason myself and Adam have been able to get to know each other is because, an hour before these chats, we get online and we talk for a little bit afterwards too. So yeah, has anyone, Louise, have you got any thought about how this may change, or Adam, anyone, or if anyone else wants to come up and talk too?
Yeah, I think, I've met a few people, both online and in person, throughout my training. And as you say, I think the connection, when you do meet face to face is just, it's priceless, isn't it, really? Just in terms of being able to, share experiences and just develop as therapists.
Yeah, totally. I think, there's actual proper friendships that I have from people that I've met on kind of hypnosis training, because, you do the role play and the practice bits, but it's when you go for lunch with people, or it's when you go to the pub after the session, that's when you really make those kind of connections. I also think, like, if we're looking at 2022 as a kind of like, what's the significance for a hypnotherapist? Well, we've had 2 years of pretty chaotic uncertainty. It's been quite anxious for a lot of people, a lot of trauma and that kind of stuff. So I feel like this is a really important year for those people, in the mental health field, to be able to, find out and let people know that, there is help on hand to deal with some of those issues. So it feels like an important year to me, 2022. I don't know if anyone else agrees, but it feels like, within our industry, within our profession, it's an important year.
Yeah, it is definitely an important year, and it's that point of being able to, as I was just saying, be able to either utilize all your strengths now, whether you are using a process which is quick, whether you are doing the session online and you learn to incorporate any of them techniques that you now have as your arsenal, whether it is the fact that you start to learn when it is best to see someone in person, when it's not, really to tune in and tone up them strings that you're going to be utilizing. Either way, it's about being able to build yourself up and really excel in that point. As I was saying to Louise earlier, when you're doing your initial interview with someone, if someone's coming to chat to you, it's about being able to use that past knowledge of experience of what you've done with someone, that you can on point be able to utilize that feeling at the end, because at the end of the day we are all humans, but be able to use that point to really make them feel just how much you know them and create that connection between people. I think also it comes down to your presence of your skills. If you are, if people know you're a hypnotist, in ways you need to be able to demonstrate your skills, however big or small, whether that is just using one of the small quick techniques, whether it is being able to do some form of rapid induction and make someone just feel good from a small suggestion. But yeah, like it's just being able to bring all them little things together too. Steve, I see you come back up as well. Have you got a point for everyone?
Yeah, sorry, I just went off to make a cup of coffee. I think there's going to be a swing back towards face-to-face sessions. I'm going to be a bit bold about this. I love working online, don't get me wrong. And I know a lot of people who started up within the last 2 years who've only ever worked online, and they're doing it very successfully. So I think online is going to be here to stay, certainly. But I think everybody is so fed up with having to do things online, whether it's, meetings on Microsoft Teams for their work, or speaking to relatives when we had the really intensive lockdowns on. It seems to me that there's a lot of pent up energy for meeting people. We can't do it at the moment, certainly not in this country, because of the current state of things. Hopefully that's going to improve. I think when it does, I think therapists who have, real practices to work from, as opposed from a purely virtual environment, I think they're going to be better placed. And I'd like to hear what other people think about that. Am I wrong? Am I right? What do you think?
I think the toothpaste is already out the tube. If I kind of, I've still got a physical practice in Hertfordshire, but the practice that I used to have in Harley Street, I'm not going to go back there. It's, if I look at the traveling time it took to get there, and then go back, and then the high rents, just for the prestige of having a good London location. When I've got 2 years worth of experience of knowing that I can get the same results virtually, and in a there's a higher profit margin, let's be honest, if you don't have physical overheads. And once you know that you can get the same results, in a let's say people use Zoom or Skype or whatever they use, then why would we go back the other way? I agree with you that there is this kind of desire, I think, to kind of connect with people. And I'm very keen to do that kind of physical setting for some of the group workshops that I used to do and that kind of stuff. And, I think prior to COVID, 5% of my sessions were online and 95% were face-to-face. It's the other way around now. 5% of my sessions are face-to-face, 95% online. I prefer it this way. But at the same time, I do think there's going to be a bit of a reaction to that. I think it's probably going to be 20% face-to-face, 80% online. But equally, I think in the same way that hypnotherapists have niche in terms of areas that they specialize in, there's going to be certain clients out there that really want to work with hypnotherapists face-to-face. And that almost becomes a niche in and of itself, that kind of willingness to work with people face-to-face. But from a personal point of view, I don't have much appetite for, I've got zero. When I started off as a hypnotherapist, I thought I need to be on Harley Street. I don't feel that at all. like not even close. So I feel like once you've experienced something and you know you can do it, why would you want to go back to the more inconvenient, more hassle, less profit path? That doesn't seem appealing.
I've just literally thought of your next press release, Adam. Let's get onto the newspapers. Is Harley Street dead? As the internet took away Harley Street? Granted, the answer is no, because there's still going to be a lot of chiropractors and all them different sort of professions as well. But as a hypnotist, are people actually going to be going back there? Is that desire going to be gone? Or maybe will it be new people who want to build up their name earlier or quicker, or maybe want to be able to charge a higher revenue in order to be able to get greater clients? It's quite an interesting thought, isn't it?
I think Harley Street had, at one point in time, it had that prestige. Certainly I leveraged the prestige of that in terms of media coverage and high profile clients. But I think it was being tarnished anyway, if I'm honest, because of the likes of Groupon and Voucher and things like that. I remember a couple of occasions there I was. Normally, because I was working on a Sunday, the reception waiting room was always empty. I was the only one in this kind of suite of kind of 3 different, kind of practice rooms. And then on one random Sunday, it's jam-packed, fucking noisy. There's all these people, and they're all clinging on to little printouts because it was some, Groupon or Voucher thing that was only going to be around. 3 weeks later, that company wasn't there. It was kind of there and then it's gone. And, I know that there's been some hypnotherapists that, have leveraged the fact that they can go on Groupon, erode their profit margins, do all that kind of stuff. And they knew that they would be able to get a slightly higher price or more clients if they're based in Harley Street. So I think because people have seen that and they've had that experience, like Harley Street didn't it was losing its kind of shine anyway. But even more so with the whole kind of COVID thing, it's kind of like, that kind of appetite. Like I had a consultation call earlier this week, a lady based in Southampton. And she wanted a reassurance the other way. She's like, it can be done virtually, can't it? Like, I don't have to physically see you. Like, so many people, I think they just prefer that. They want that.
It's the go-to now, though, isn't it? With many a thing, it's I've just gone back to work after everything being closed due to COVID, and literally the question is, do we actually have to do their meetings anymore? The meetings, which used to always be a pain in the arse, it's like now you can actually just sit at your computer, carry on with work, rather than taking a notepad, not listening to 95% of it until you're 1% that you need to take a note on. So yeah, it's being utilized by and many different courses and things like that. It's all getting brought together like that. Will it be now that only meetup sort of conferences will be the ones? Will it mean that when it comes to booking out of a hotel, the prices may become more astronomical because the hotels need to make their money elsewhere? We really don't know, and it'd be really interesting. Even with the Jacquins, they've completely took their online academy completely, their hypnosis academy completely online, and from everything that I hear, it's been a great success for how it is. I've not heard a single negative about it, because we all know how professional the pair of them are. So it really is quite interesting to see how last year's development, or the last 2 years' development of online will change this year, and whether it will. Again, because some people weren't here before, that whole thing of how websites are now slowly starting to develop into Web 3.0 will as more people are starting to get technology based and understanding, what will change the development of how of how we're going to push things forward into that 21st century. As I mentioned before, Adam, do you believe that virtual reality headsets will start getting used?
Yeah, I do. I think I bought my kids, a VR, one of these Oculus Quest devices for Christmas. They love it. And actually, I've used a couple of guided meditation apps on the VR headsets. Right now, there isn't a very good hypnotherapy app on the VR. You know, maybe there's a gap in the market for someone to do that, because I think if you've got, you know, because I mean, obviously a lot of hypnosis is kind of reliant on imagination for part of that journey, whether you use it for an induction or actual protocols or whatever. So, you know, I would label that, if it was a VR experience that involved hypnosis, is it really hypnosis? Not really, because you can't calibrate and kind of change approach depending on the therapeutic objectives of the client. But it's kind of like hypnosis / guided meditation. It's kind of a hypnosis experience. So I do think there's going to be things like that. I think at some point in the future, AI is probably going to be integrated into this, because some clever robots are going to figure out that actually, you know, you can find certain language patterns in a particular tonality and give people choice, and it will machine learn, you know, what produces different, you know, feedback loops at the end based on, you know, either SUDS or you know, even biofeedback and that kind of stuff. So it's an exciting time. I think there's going to be more use of technology. I mean, let's be honest, as hypnotherapists, all of us are using more technology than we've ever used before. We're doing sessions over Zoom. You know, we're using likes of YouTube and social media and all that kind of stuff. So to say that won't simply increase and follow the trajectory it's already on, it's ludicrous. Of course it is. You know, it's guaranteed to follow that. And I think those hypnotherapists that are happy to embrace technology are probably going to steal a march on those that are reluctant. You know, probably all of us know at least one hypnotherapist that plays like whale music on a CD player in the corner of the room, you know, and they're still in business, you know. So it's kind of, you know, it is that kind of thing that technology rewards those people that not that just understand it, but that can utilize it depending on the niche that they're in and the value that they can add. I think technology for the sake of technology is a waste of money, but technology used in the right way, if it gives a strategic advantage, that doesn't have to be in the hypnotherapeutic experience. It could just be in marketing, you know, a way to acquire clients more efficiently. That still has an impact on a hypnosis business.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I can tell. Oh, go on, Steve, go on.
I was just going to say that there was a program on Radio 4 I caught earlier on, and it was about the care industry in Japan and the Far East, and how AI is taking over there. And they're talking about having robotic care assistants, which on the face of it sounds, to me anyway, totally dystopian and quite scary. But they were talking about this Japanese scientist. He developed this. It was like a toy seal, but it looks like a real seal, you know, furry animal. And he would take it along to these old folks' homes, and it responds when people stroke it, and it looks at them with these big, cute eyes. And I've read up on this before, and you know, they've measured their heart rate and galvanic skin response and this sort of thing, and it has a very, very calming effect, and it interacts with people. This is a fairly simple thing, and you can imagine a position not too far down the line where an AI system is going to be able to better calibrate a client than a human being will, because it's able to monitor things more efficiently. I don't regard this as a threat to us as human practitioners, because I think the demand for our services is go up exponentially as we've got a forever aging population, and people's stress levels continue to rise with all sorts of things. So I think I can see robotic therapists sitting alongside us increasingly as we go forward. Yeah,
that is interesting. And the other thing is, you know, there is a good chance that they're going to be able to calibrate a lot quicker, because we naturally we may calibrate off the wrong thing ourselves. You know, we may have our own intention of how we think something's going to happen, and if it doesn't, whereas AI would naturally just pick up its natural path too. But yeah, the main question I wanted to get to, Adam, is have you had to go to the Oculus, and have you fallen over?
I haven't fallen over yet, but I have banged into the wall a couple of times, boxing and that kind of stuff. It's so immersive. You know, when you're in there, you don't feel like you're in your normal place. You know, so that element that as hypnotherapists we get. You know, if someone's in a deep trance and they're, you know, a couple of levels deep in terms of disassociation. It's like that, but you're using your direct senses rather than your imagination to imagine that you're in these different environments. And because there's kind of constant stimulus coming at you and doing different things, you put yourself in that world. It's fascinating. I think there'll be hypnotherapists in VR locations, call it the metaverse if you want. What will be the metaverse equivalent of Harley Street? Nobody knows. Will people want to imagine that they're in some kind of plush kind of therapy room? I doubt it, because the possibilities are infinite. Why not be on a different planet? Why not be you could have many different metaphors that relate to resourceful states. You could have people in waterfalls and in oceans. We're not limited by the laws of physics in the VR world, in the metaverse. So it feels exciting. It feels that there will be opportunities that we can't comprehend yet within this kind of world. And I think for those people that are motivated and excited to learn about that, what it also gives is an element of leverage. And we've seen this with, I have a podcast, there's people with YouTube channels that deal with hypnosis. They've been able to get their content and their hypnosis out to millions upon millions of people because they just embraced, if we look at, Steve Jones, for example, his voice has been heard by lots and lots of people, not necessarily by seeing him face to face, but through recordings, through YouTube, whatever it might be. Technology gives us the opportunity to leverage our talents to impact more people in a more efficient way. And that's got to be a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's for anyone who's never used virtual reality or modern virtual reality, not the sort of stuff you used to just get in an arcade. It's really strange how it takes over your body. I played my mate's PlayStation 1 a couple of years ago. I was playing Resident Evil, and as I was running, even though I stood still in the game running down the corridor, as soon as I stopped, my body started to topple over because the inertia of running, my cochlea must have all gone out of balance and wanted to continue running. So I just want to leave that kind of like a closing comment to the fact of, if that's something that we can do with just a visualization in that way, how could we utilize these in the terms of for hypnosis? So if you are someone tech and you want, it's something you would wish to think about more, please do run away with that idea and make sure you talk to me and Adam as well, so we can have an insight. But yeah, I think it's been great this evening just to be able to talk about this, because we were chatting, weren't we, Adam? We really weren't sure what to talk about tonight, and we just thought in the end, why don't we just talk about Happy New Year, different little goals that we may have, because we have talked about a lot of topics since last February, back when myself and Steve Daly started this, all the way through to now. And in some cases, we did question whether we'd have anything else left to talk. And without you guys, especially Louise and Steve tonight, coming up and chatting, it helps getting this balance rolling. And like I say, if ever you have got a topic that you feel you wish to talk about, address, maybe it's something you're passionate towards, please do reach out to us, and we can have you as a guest host and whatever on here to be able to talk about that too. Because as much as we rabble on and talk about these topics, we'd also like to learn more about what you're doing. There may be something that we share an interest towards, or may not currently share an interest towards, but want to learn more towards it and gain an interest. There may be someone in the lower part who is learning about hypnosis, exactly like Louise said at the start. Louise has been in the audience many, many, many times, and she's took away so much that this year she's going to be breaking free with her own clinic, to the point where I wish you absolutely the best of luck, and please do ask if ever you're in any need of anything, because development for all of us is key. No therapist should never go without support from another therapist. because we've all been in that place where we need the strength from time to time. We need that little bit of guiding hand. And at the end of the day, we are the best at giving guiding hands, and being able to assist someone around you. I believe personally is key, and we should always push towards that. I'm aware, Adam, we've only got about 8 minutes left. What should we talk about?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking, like, if we're looking at, I think the beginning of the year is a good opportunity to look at things, almost more of a macro level rather than micro level. So here's my question for you, Graham. If there could be a bit more of something in the industry of hypnosis and a little less of something else, what would you want more of? What would you want less of?
I'd like more companionship, and pretty much kind of exactly what I've just said off, where regardless of where everyone comes from, regardless of what your training ability is, everyone not going into, I don't want to use the term cult, but depending on your trainer, typically people in the hypnosis world will only stick in that one area. Since doing my meetups, I've completely opened my brackets on many different thoughts, but just being open to listen to another therapist about how they work. Adam, I know you do your work a lot different to mine, but at the same time, I know we can both achieve the same sort of amazement, and that's something about it. I've took many things away that you've said to me, and I know you've took some things away that I've said to you as well. And it's just about that companionship. And so the one thing to really get rid of is egos in the hypnotist area. As much as, yes, having an ego towards your clients to show your confidence, back to your whole eyebrow situation, you should have that confidence and an ego to absolutely dominate that area. But sometimes is it all needed in every area? Not always. No. So I'm trying to find the right way of how to say this now. If someone is completely doing something off the rail, it shouldn't be an ego, it should be a guidance. And never be too big to do the small stuff. And I believe the small stuff is helping those who really need help. Or maybe are going in a different direction and you know it. If you let them go in a wrong direction, then are you a therapist? That's gone quite deep, Adam. Why did you do that to me?
I see where you're coming from. I remember a few years back when you're that kind of enthusiastic hypnotherapist just starting out, and you go on all the Facebook groups, and someone's got a fairly innocuous question, and then they're shut down rapidly by people that aren't trying to help. They're just trying to prove that they're more intelligent or more knowledgeable than this newbie that's starting out. And I agree. That's not useful. It's not helpful, and actually breaks down what you want to see more of, which is, help, collaboration, that kind of, it's a team effort kind of thing. And I get why, because, if you've got that element of scarcity where you think, right, well, there's all these hypnotherapists there. So if I can kind of demonstrate my knowledge on a particular thing, then, you kind of position yourself as kind of an expert and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is there's more than enough clients to go around. There's the biggest challenge I think we've got as an industry is, I think, encouraging more people to consider hypnotherapy for other reasons than a last resort. And I think in too many cases, people come to a hypnotherapist when they've tried everything else. And if we can get that to be, let's say, maybe the third or fourth choice rather than the very last choice, well, the increasing size of the market goes up dramatically at that point. And there might be a few sectors where people think of hypnosis as the first thing, maybe smoking cessation, but I doubt it. It's probably going to be, patches and vaping first, but it's probably not going to be the last thing. But in a lot of areas, I think hypnotherapy, they'll only try it when they've tried everything else. And the change I'd like to see is that there's a bit more, let's say, credibility or confidence in hypnotherapy as an industry. So people, consider it earlier up in the thought process rather than a last resort. I think that'd be good for all of us. But I agree with your point in terms of the egos. There is, I think, I worked in the radio industry, and I would say in the hypnotherapy industry, it's a similar thing. You have very big egos battling to kind of prove who's better and who's right, which, it doesn't feel that welcoming for a new hypnotherapist coming in sometimes.
So my main point with it really is if you are, granted, it does come down to the level of the people who originally trained, that they should have known the content in order to share. I get that. And it shouldn't be your responsibility to mop up. But if someone is wayward, rather than shutting them down and let's face it, 90%, as we all know, 60% of stats are made up on the spot, but 90% of therapists are people who've already been through some sort of therapy. So sometimes shutting down people can really send them inward again, to the point of it may unresolve what was resolved. And I don't know about you guys, but that's the last thing I would ever want. So if ever someone is a little bit wayward, maybe offer them 5 minutes as to how that could be a little bit better. A phone call, back to that connection thing that I said about stopping everything being digital and maybe making it a bit more personal. You never know, you might make a good friend. I think that's quite a good place to leave it. So everyone, thank you very much for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure to be back online. I was chronically busy over December with doing some different shows and stuff. So it's really good to have you online and hearing new faces like Louise's too. Steve, as always, thank you for coming to join us, and the familiar faces in the audience, I really do appreciate having you here. Adam, as always, I really look forward to going into 2022 with you and doing more of these clubhouses and bringing different stuff as well. Rowan will be joining us again soon. But everyone, if ever you've got a topic, if ever you've got an idea, please do drop it into us, because as much as we're humans, we need to think of content too, and we want to bring it to you. And if you know any friends, any therapists who wish to learn a little bit more about hypnosis, or if there's someone who wants to just understand a little bit more, please just drop them a line, tell them to come and join us, and it'd be really good to have more formal chats. So Adam, anything from you?
Just another happy new year to everyone, and let's make 2022 a great year.
Awesome. Everyone, you take care, and we'll see you all next week. Cheerio.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.